Don't mess it up. Go for it.
Hey, everybody. We are back with another episode of Eclectic Soundtrax podcast. And our guest today is a longtime friend of mine. We met in music classes in classical guitar class in San Antonio College back when the dinosaurs roamed the earth. And it was just dinosaurs and classical guitar for some reason. And anyway, so today joining us is my longtime friend, Sukunya, who has recently, October 1st, she put out her debut EP, Tiger Heart, although she is a longtime musician who has played in bands and done solo gigs and has worked in film, video editing. She has a documentary, I believe came out in 2015, somewhere in that realm, called Cooking with Love, which I was very grateful to be included with a couple of songs on that. And but now she is promoting her new EP, which has a couple of videos out. The title track Tiger Heart came out in late September, right before the EP, and her latest December was released December 1st. So go check those out on YouTube. And where can people find you? Let's just get right to that. Where's the best place to find Sukunya online?
YouTube and
is that just Instagram? But what is your handle? Is it Sukunya or is it something else?
Music?
Sukunya Music.
Sukunya
okay,
music,
so
yeah.
All right, so Instagram, YouTube, Spotify. It's just Sukunya. Suki. I always just call you Suki.
And find me at the grocery store. I go grocery shopping very often.
Fly to LA and go find her shopping at a Ralph's. I'm not going to tell you which one. Just search all the Ralphs. Oh, Whole Foods. She's fancy. But yeah, really exciting. You are opening up for a band called Cocktail, a big band out of Thailand at the Vermont Hotel in Los Angeles on January 23rd. Is that correct?
The Vermont Hollywood. It's like a club.
Vermont Hollywood.
It's a venue, yeah.
Oh, I thought you said, for some reason, I feel like I misread things and I saw hotel.
I think your mind is like to stay at the hotel for some reason. I say it twice.
I don't know, man.
The Vermont Hollywood.
I went to the Hotel California and I never came back. Like, that's what happened to me. And something's never been right. But anyway, so now it all makes sense. Anyway, the Vermont, say it, what is it?
The Vermont Hollywood.
The Vermont Hollywood. Okay, that's what it is.
Yeah.
But anyway, I looked at this place online and it looks amazing. Like, that is a legit venue. So I imagine opening for this big band out of Thailand, you're going to be playing for a big crowd. That's really exciting. Congrats on that.
Yeah, I'm excited. Also because I stopped performing for a while, you know. When I released this EP, I got a chance to perform at Thai Festival at Santa Monica Pier, which is pretty awesome. And that's my first gig, and then that was in September, and then take a little break. So I'm excited for the next one.
How long? I mean, you were playing all the time when we met, and we were very early 20s, 20, 21 years old, and like
long time ago.
Yeah, and you had just moved to the United States from Thailand, and I had just moved, and your family had moved to San Antonio, and I had just moved to San Antonio, and we were both going and taking like college music classes, and we used to sit out in front of the I forget what you call it, like the cafeteria, recreational area, and play acoustically, right? And and then you also played at whatever right, exactly, and make tips. And then we played. You used to play at a Thai restaurant there in San Antonio, and you would do those gigs. And then when you moved to LA, you did similar stuff like that. So for years, you were a performer, playing in restaurants and in those kind of gigs, doing that kind of stuff. And then you kind of segued into film and stuff as well. But actually, what brought you over here initially? Was it just that your parents moved here, or was there a part of you that wanted to come to the United States? I imagine maybe.
No, it wasn't my choice. Actually, playing in the restaurant, that's my thing, man. It's like I do that forever since I was, I don't know, 16. I remember going to college, and opposite college there's a pub. So after college, I will cross the street and then go play in the pub, just me and the acoustic guitar, I don't even remember if I get paid, but they probably give me like free alcohol. That's my pay, and which I'm cool with that.
Which is good, which is fine when you're like 20.
Yeah. I'm not even 20 yet, but in Thailand.
Was this? No, this was in Thailand.
Yeah, this is in Thailand. Yeah. I wasn't drinking age, but in Thailand everything goes.
Yeah, right. Well, when you came over, I remember you had like a cassette tape. It was like, I don't know.
Yeah,
and you had like a mask on. It was just like, and I was like, wow, like you were like a rock star to us. Like you were like this rock star who came over from Thailand.
Yeah, I signed with a small independent record label in Thailand, like around 17. And I wrote some songs, I wrote some music for the album. And I was on tour, I was on radio, I was on TV. And then my mom was like, they moved to San Antonio before me. And there was like, you know, if you don't move right now, if you don't come to America right now, you're not gonna get your visa. Like at the time, my visa was under the parent. So I was devastated because I was like having career from, doing what I love, doing music. So but then I have to drop everything. I actually, what you call, like broke out the contract with the record label and came to San Antonio, man, which was like nothing.
And you
Nothing.
really didn't even speak English at the
No, I learned English in college, which I was doing bachelor degree for hotel management, which is the most of the classes in English. So I learned English, but it's like a British English, which is really weird. And then I come to Texas, and then everything was like English, but then it was like Texas English. So I had
less
to
proper.
relearn English in Texas. But when I went singing, it's so crazy because like when you're young, you have this confidence in the world. I would speak English. I don't even know if I speak right or not, but I just go and work in a restaurant. I speak with you. I make friends with you. It's weird because we met at classical guitar class, but then we end up playing heavy metal together.
Yeah.
And that's how we become friends for so long, because the love of heavy metal, the love of rock music. Yeah, before I signed the contract, I was in the band, sort of like a hard rock band. We play Dream Theater, we play, Mr. Big and Skid Row. We cover those music, and then we enter the thing in Thailand. They have a music award called Coca-Cola Music Award. So we got number 6 of the country. Like they compete the whole country. It's like a college music. So I started playing rock music then. And then so when I came to San Antonio, like I say, it was like I feel like I'm just dropped in the middle of nowhere, you know. So my mom friend, she owned Thai restaurant, so I asked if I could just go play guitar and make tips. So I done that for a while. I think you came and jammed.
I think I did. Yeah.
Yeah.
And the funny thing is I remember playing there, and one of the songs that you used to cover, and we could name several songs that we covered, but one of the ones we did that you always did, and I think I probably played with you, was Ozzy Osbourne's Goodbye to Romance. And so years later, when we were like, hey, let's just do some YouTube, let's just record some songs in the studio and put them on YouTube. And that was one of the ones we did.
Yeah, it did very well on YouTube, and I'm happy we did that.
Remember, we were like, I wonder if it'll get like 10 plays, and like November Rain, I think, was the first one we did. Mm-hmm. And then we did Goodbye to Romance, Wish You Were Here,
Planet Caravan.
Yeah, probably a couple of
Wish You Were Here.
Was that the one in, was it Jeff's studio?
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Jeff. Yeah. So, tell
us
about
Jeff Big?
Yeah, he came on the podcast.
Awesome.
Yeah, Jeff Lewis, amazing player.
I love him.
Yes, Jeff is such a great guy. Played with the
showing
Jacksons back in the 70s.
Yeah, showing us all the pictures of the Jacksons. And
plays with Tierra.
So my EP, I record with him at his studio, and he also play all the horns session on it. Yeah, he tracks some of the instruments, and yeah, he's cool.
Tell us about that EP and who else was involved with it, like the process of that whole thing.
It took a long time. Took a break from performing and doing video editing, and then become a mom, as you know. And it's pretty shocked to my system how hard it is. It's I remember when my son, he's a baby, I'm trying to like get a job, doing editing job, and I was just like, I can't, man.
Yeah,
I just
full time,
can't deliver
just tending to him
on time. So yeah, I kind of went in and out. I was like, want to be creative, and then also exhausted as hell.
Mm-hmm.
like that, but I do want to write songs. I want to keep going, and so I just collecting, writing, and then going to Jeff and Dave's studio, record demo here and there, and it's like, man, it took like maybe 3 years to do just this 4 song, which is a very long time, but it's finished, and at first we just record using, I play guitar on it and David play piano, and then I feel like, man, I took a long time to write this, and I don't know when I'm going to be able to put my energy to do this again. So might as well get a real awesome musician to play on it, instead of, so we took the MIDI parts out and then start having a real musicians one by one coming in, and it just grew bigger and bigger and bigger.
That's how it goes. And sometimes the old ways, and sometimes today, depending on the project. I mean, maybe in a perfect world, if everybody has all the time in the world and everyone's got the time to really and focus to get the songs down and play collectively, but it just doesn't really happen much. It's not practical for so many people of all ages and walks of life, and not to mention budget and all that stuff. Time and
it's
budget.
not practical.
It's a way you make. Typically make an album a lot of times now.
Yeah, but what I love about it is like you bring in the musician, you feed off each other. When they come 100%. In, they give you a new idea. The song kind of grow in different direction, and it's the connection between musicians is what I love.
Yes,
instead of just sit in the studio, just you and.
Well, and I like that too, because from a producer, I mean, I guess you co-produced it with Dave Vasquez, or did he kind of have a production hand? You produced it.
I produced it, and Dave helping me out with a chord arrangement, which is
he did the arranging, and right, and then Jeff obviously recorded horns, David recorded piano, and so, but yeah, I know what you mean, because I love that. If I have a song, a demo, get kind of everything down, MIDI drums, whatever, and then take it to the studio and have the different musicians, whoever it might be, play on their process of producing that collectively, working together, and then you just really bring everything to life. So I know exactly what you mean, and it's a cool, fun process sometimes it takes months and months or years to get there, but when it finally happens and you're in the studio making that thing come to life, it's really, really cool. And I know it sounds amazing. EP came out great. The songs are great. They sound great. Tell us where it was mixed and mastered.
It mixed and mastered at this really awesome studio in Hollywood called the Gold Diggers, which is Gold Diggers is a bar in East Hollywood. Also, it's a hotel and a recording studio. So you can check in
all one building
in one facility. Oh, wow. This is like.
That's how you make a record, right? You just go stay there. If you have the money, you just go stay there, make your record, drink at night.
You check in to this hotel at the bar downstairs. You check in, and you go in the hotel and then walk in the back to record. I mean, but I live
Vic
here,
taking notes.
That's a great idea.
Yes, you should.
Yeah.
I mean, and not just that, they produced many awesome records. Many big artists go record here. So I feel very lucky to have a chance. My friend of mine owned the studio. I mean, her husband owned the studio. So I asked them kindly to introduce me to the best, mixer engineer and mixer there. And so I met Ed. His name is Ed McCanty.
Mm-hmm.
And he's just brilliant. And the studio is just amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah. When I go in, I tell myself, I'm going to go in with open mind, meaning when you record, things go a certain way, right? Like you hear that track for like 1,000 times because you take it home, listen to it. But once you hand it to the mixer, when you take it home, it's not going to sound the same of all this, 3 years I've been doing demo. It's not sound the same. So I telling myself, so we have like a little go back and forth a little bit, but then I trust him completely, but it's just like some part that I was like, can we do this, so that's what I learned about working with someone else, that you find someone that you can trust and you let it go, because most of the artists have that problem, right? Like you don't want to let it go, and another thing that I learned making this EP is like sometime when you find somebody that click with you, you should, you know, collaborate. Before, because I'm a learner, I always write songs myself, and you know, besides playing with you, because we know each other for a long time, you know, I can take your shit and you can take my shit, you know.
Well,
So,
I'll say, go, yeah, keep going.
So yeah, that's what I learned is like going forward to you know, work with someone to bring the project to another level, which is I did. I listened to David Vasquez, who, you know, co-produced and arranged my song. Even though some chord I feel like, man, that's too sweet, they're too jazzy. But then I'm like, you know what? Let's try it. And then it's great, you know. Or at the mix process, I was like, can you bring the vocal up? And he was like, no, I think the vocal sit in the right place. And I was like, all right, I trust
This is
you.
all about me. Yeah, no, I know exactly what you mean. And like, I think the big part, you've got this long working relationship with these guys at Moonlight, and they're in, what part of LA are they in? I always forget the name of it. Atwater Park.
Atwater Village.
Atwater Village. Right. Yeah. Love that place. Okay. So yeah. And I mean, that's the thing though. You have this relationship with these guys, and it becomes you know, it's not about ego. Everyone's throwing ideas. Everyone's very competent musicians. And I think that's the ideal best situation you can get in. Right. And you're right. I think when you're young, it's really hard. And that's actually a reason like young bands need producers, and you're lucky if you get one, because I don't think you really realize what they do and bring to the table. And then you get a little further along and you go, yeah, there's a reason producers exist. Can kind of get the artist out of their comfort zone, try things, you know, do different things, elevate a song. And like you said, you get so married to the demo. It's hard. I still have a hard time with it, you know, but I also know the people when I'm working with, like, you find different people that work in different capacities. And when you're working in that sort of capacity, like when you trust those, you know, producers and musicians, like it's gonna be for the best.
Yeah. So next project, if I could find a good producer to work with me, that would be, you know, I think I will go for that if I could afford it.
Yeah,
I need to sell some guitars.
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah, you should come to Austin. I should go there. I know we've talked about it and haven't done it. We did those you know, handful of videos, but we still are yet to actually like really collaborate in terms of music. Although Suki was featured on All There Ever Is, the last tune on the latest Good Rogering album, so that was super cool having you finally.
Yeah, thanks for having me on that.
A record. Yeah, that was super cool.
That's a good experience.
When you were saying take each other's shit, we don't. One thing I'll give you credit on, actually, what's really cool is anytime we've done a cover, you are always like, I'm like, cool, I learned it. I might have learned it on the plane on the way, but learn the song. And then you're like, no, we got to make it different. We got to, you know, try something different and treat it differently. Yes. And I think because of that, like we really jazzed out Goodbye to Romance. And then Jeff came on there like a boss and just played this amazing flugelhorn solo or whatever it was. And, you know, really reimagined some tunes and made them really great. And then, you know what, I'm going to bring this up, Vic, just because I think we were talking about this. I think we were talking
vocal
about
levels?
No, with Ruthie about comments on YouTube. And I brought this up on the last. I brought this up on the last podcast because you always have some dickhead trolls. And I was actually referencing our Goodbye to Romance video when I was talking about this, because I remember 2 comments. You know, you got all these comments like, beautiful voice, this is so great, and love this, and oh my gosh. And then one person was just like, too much reverb. And another person was like, this is a disgrace to Randy Rhoads. And then I go look at his channel and it's just like fat ass who can't even play.
I was just going to tell you, Skunk, I have the latest comment on Goodbye to Romance. It's saying, sounds nice, but it doesn't sound like original. I'm like, that's the whole point.
That's the point. I know.
That's the whole point.
Right. Why do we want to just clone it? I mean, you could, sure. There's point you can do that. And there's no problem with that.
Let's talk about that for a second, about that. You know,
Suki's really good with that as an arranger, actually. Like, you're really good at reimagining things. And so it's kind of, you know, you kind of do what you're talking about. You take this song that we've heard 1,000 times a certain way, and you would really force me to like not just play the song. You'd be like, no, like let's try to do something different. How about this? How about this? Or Faith No More's Motherfucker. Like that was I forgot we did that one, like a more casual version, but acoustified. You know, but I think that's super fun, you know, because that's the thing with music.
I can't wait to show it to my son on that version when he's old enough.
Your YouTube channel still has to be.
Here's your mom. But yeah, let's talk about that for a second, about the comments. That's one thing about being an artist that I learned to grow, which I'm still, sometime in the down day, I still have a hard time with all the shitty comments, you know, that I got. That's like, one was like, love you long time.
Of course, you're going to get that shit.
Yeah. And then it was like,
maybe they're talking to Skunk.
That's true.
Right. Maybe. Or like, she can't pronounce that. What November did she pronounce? November or some shit like that, you know?
Just mean. I know people are just shitty, and it's like children. It's like children on a fucking playground picking on each other. You got to think the people who do that, and we all grow. Like once in a blue moon, I might slip, but for the most part now, I am way less on social media. And who has, you know, artists, people really creating things, or people who are busy doing things, don't have time to go troll other people. So it's inherent that the people leaving those kind of nasty comments are fucking losers, you know, and they're just bitter, angry losers, and that's why they're picking on other people, you know?
No, but because of that, it made me learn, though, that not to, when you create art, you let it go, because it's no longer yours. People could interpret it in their own way, how they, you know, how their environment, how they grow up, listen to music, what kind of music they listen to, what period of the life they're at the moment, you know, that make them like type that in.
Loser.
But when I make with Tiger Heart's album, when I send it out to the world, I was like, okay, it's no longer mine. People could trash it or like it, you know. But as myself, as an artist, I have to shut down at some time, close the door, and go somewhere else and write, or you know, like,
it's the best thing you can do.
But the social media nowadays is like, you gotta post content all the time. Like, I can't do that, man. Like, I've
stopped, and I feel better for it. I said, you know, it doesn't matter. It feels like it doesn't matter anyway. And I don't want to waste my time doing that. I
do that too. Like, where
so much better
do you have time to go write or practice your guitar, or, you know, practice your
in younger
instrument.
generations, it's all about being an influencer, all about my latest TikTok video, my latest Instagram video. I got to do this. I gotta. And it's like, to what end? So you can get 100,000 views of people that'll never fucking remember your name. Like, it's too bad. I mean, fine for the people that are having success with it. I get that. We can sound all, you know, old and bitter, but I agree. I mean, it really is. I mean, do you want to create, or do you want to obsess about what you've already created? And that's the point. And that's what a true artist just continues to create. And I'm excited that I've kind of gotten into a place where I've sort of I've stopped playing, and I am in that mode of just like, I don't care what's going on in social media. I'm not trying to promote anything. Fuck it. I'm going to create new music. And I couldn't be happier being back in the studio. That's where I really feel great. And whenever, you know, you're being creative, whether it's with you or a good Rogering, it doesn't matter, right? It's
I still try to promote, because one thing about
you have to do it, but you don't have to obsess about all the bullshit around it, you know. Just get in, get out.
Yeah. One thing good about it, because it's an open platform that artists like us, nobody, didn't sign anyone. I'm a mom full time, but then write songs, be able to have a space to showcase my music. But it just find that medium, that healthy balance. It's not easy. You know what I mean?
Well, and the thing is that we sometimes forget, and this is so awesome, because on the flip side of the coin of the trolls and that, which there's not a whole lot of that at our level. I mean, of course, when you're famous, you're going to get like thousands of people, or, you know, millions of people are going to love you. Millions of people are going to hate you. For us, it's like one comment here and there, right? But it's like, the flip side of it is like, from whatever troll, you know, leave some nasty comment on, you know, some YouTube video or something. There's people that once in a while come out and they're like, this is my favorite album. This changed my life. I, you know, used to not like metal, but now I like metal, or whatever the case may be. And what a great song. That's like awesome. That like fuels the fire. And like, those are the people you need to realize, like, you are actually having impact. So for someone like you, maybe some woman aspiring artist who's got a kid and who's underwater and this and that, she hears what you accomplished and she says, I can do this, you know, and inspires her. So I think we forget sometimes that we are actually all feeding off and inspiring each other, so even
Well,
even
you
if you don't
inspire me.
see it, the
You
problem is
inspire
you
me.
don't. Well, thank you. You inspire me. And Vic, you inspire us both. And it's like, the problem is this. We get, and I say this to myself, and I think so many people probably struggle with this. It's become such a numbers thing with social media that you sort of, you base all your success or failure on whatever you're seeing those numbers represent. And that's not necessarily like, oh, well, nobody likes me because only 15 people like this post. Well, that doesn't mean only 15 people know and have been impacted by your music. It just means that's who happen to see that and like that. It doesn't really mean that much. They're kind of like, there was something that Anastasia said that was false I don't know, it was metrics or something, but it was maybe a little more eloquent, but it was really cool. It might have been it was on our podcast, but it might have been on a documentary I saw her on. Anyway, blah blah blah. So yeah, I want to talk about Indy for a second, your son, because you as a mother were extremely busy, with all that. But I'm trying to think what it was when he was super young. Was he born in 2015, 16? 16? No, it was 2016. So he was just okay. So it would have been 20. I'm trying to the time I came down with the band, for NAMM, and we came by your place for a bit, and this was just so cool. He was in his little roller crib thing, right? And we started playing like this kid. I mean, he's been playing drums and he's already a musician. He's already a total badass rock star, right? And but I remember playing a Megadeth song. We were playing Megadeth and he was rocking out. And I was like, yep, this is Suki's
like
son.
Baby.
Yeah.
He
just
loved
in
it.
his bones. And he's already, I'm inspired by Indy. What an honor it was that he liked my song, Mississippi Whiskers,
Yes.
That's so cool to me. And used to sing it when he was a little kid or a little baby or whatever. But he have his first, it was when we were down on tour, I guess in 2023. Wasn't that the first time he sang with you, like on the street, did a Beatles song?
Yeah.
Do you remember what song it was y'all sang? That was super fun because we all kind of sat in and jammed a little bit. And then Indy got up there and what is he? So he's what, 7?
Be 8 right now.
8? But he would have been, was he 6 or 7 at the time?
6 or 7, yeah.
So, yeah, he made his debut performance at 6.
He sang with me at in our home, but that's the first time that he sang on the street.
In public, yeah.
You mentioned about him. He's the one who inspired me to get up and write music again, because when he's a baby, I will play music for him. You play guitar for him. I'll play guitar for him. We sing together. And he could sing with me when he was really, really like a baby. And it was just mind blowing for me. And it's like a connection that we have together. So I wrote Tiger Heart, which is the main song for this album, for him, because he's half Thai, half American. And I don't know, as I raising him, who is his baby, I was like, what can I do to make him feel the sense of pride of being half Thai? So that's how Tiger Heart came about. Also, the depth of the song, this song is about myself as the immigration that came from different country, for my family as well that came here and restart their life. Like I want him to feel the sense of pride of how far we have come as him. So, and that's what Tiger Heart is for him.
Elaborating on that, tell us about the video, because you actually went to Thailand to shoot the video, and Indy went with you.
Yes, and in the music video, I have him in the music video and my dad. So it's like together, and they look alike, man. Like my dad and my son, they look alike. Like he have hair just like my dad. Like when Indy father, he's completely blonde and have fair hair, but Indy was like thick curl hair like my dad. And so I have them together in the music video as a symbol of like, of the blood, of the heritage that we have. And so that's in personal level is pretty epic for me, because for him to, when he grow up and look back, to hear these songs again. And like he know that I wrote it for him and what it for. And my hope is like they gotta be like millions kids like Indy that have, you know, don't have to be half Thai, but half culture. And you know what can the family do to raise these kids to also be proud of whatever they have of, you know, embrace the culture, embrace the heritage. And yeah, so that's why this tiger heart thing it start from my son, because I want him to see too that, because at the time I was full-time mom, and I want him to see that he doesn't know me, right? He doesn't know me before. What can I do before I was
Probably don't want him to know all that.
Well, that part too. But I meant,
Mom, what's vodka?
I think he already know on the lockdown. The first thing he drew a wine glasses. Like,
Mom, this
you know,
is my
when
mom.
he was like 3
This is
years
what my
old.
mom likes.
And I was like, oh my God, I have to cut down on that. Anyways, yeah, I want him to know what I'm capable of, not just just being his mother, not just, you know, cook and clean and taking care of him. So I start dreaming of like, hey, if I write music and I perform again, one day he's gonna get to see me perform on the stage. You know, and that happened
cool.
That happened, dude, on September, the first time he brought he brought girls from his first grade, like to this concert, and they're like sit in the group beside the stage, and he was just like, he feeling, you know, cool.
That's so cool. Yeah. It's like, look at my mom, she's a rock star.
Yeah, and then he tell one boy, was like, I was on her music video, and it's all over the internet, which is funny.
That's cool. Well, it did really well. And when it first came out, I mean, it got a lot of hits just in a few days, and a ton of comments. Got like 500 something comments. It's got a lot of traction. I
think because, like I said, it resonates with a lot of people that mixed culture here, especially in America. You know, and especially in this time when being culture is, I don't know, you gotta being very strong at this time of, you know, in this politic environment that we have right now. So I feel like, I think is resonate with a lot of people.
Yeah. There was something I was going to say, and I got kind of sidetracked from what you're saying, which is 100% relevant. But I'm not going to go down some political, you know, rabbit hole. Nobody wants to hear that stuff, especially Vic. I don't do it anymore. I'm done with all that, like social media. Just whatever, man. Vic, what do you got? I'm waiting for it to come back to me.
I was just thinking about when you were talking about, you know, handing your work over to somebody else to work on, right? And just trusting them.
Yeah.
And the vocals. And I just remember Skunk, when we first started, every time we try to put out a podcast, it's like, hey, could you go back and just raise, you know, just fix my voice a little bit, you know, just give it a little bit more bass.
Well, I obsessed. I said this on Ruthie Craft's podcast. I'm OCD. I've accepted my OCD, my ADHD, my this, my that, my everything, and it's a nightmare. But it's true, and I have to deal with it. And that's actually another reason I personally like working with a producer, because I will drive myself completely insane with perfection. Perfection is not even a real thing, right? You can't achieve it. And so every artist is never going to be 100% satisfied, maybe, you know. But I mean, I am proud of releases and everything. There's always something that can be different or better, whatever. But I did it with the podcast too, and I still do it with certain. And it sucks. It's really, to be serious about it, it's really hard because, but at the same time, Vic has this, hello, I'm Victor and I'm amazing. And, you know, panties are flying off and I'm like, hi, everybody, I'm Skunk Manhattan, meet my friend Suki, you know? So I was just trying to make my voice sound, and then I got obsessed with like the editing and after a while I was like, I don't give a fuck. I don't care how I sound, like whatever, put the goddamn podcast.
That's right. You did put it in Pro Tools.
Sorry, I'm
it's true,
cursing.
Vic, it's
now,
not fair. You sound like you have this perfect warm. It's like you put your voice through a compressor.
We don't get to sound like you, Vic.
No, it's clean. It's on a clean setting.
Exactly. You have this perfect warm voice is, yeah, it's
Yeah.
perfect.
I can tweak it. I got some tools.
Yeah, make yourself sound like a chipmunk, and then I won't feel so bad about my non-bassy voice. I have a
don't know
pretty
if I could do
bassy
that.
voice, but against Vic, it's just I can't compete. Yeah, so he's right. I would get there and fart around with EQs. It was just, but to be
A
fair,
little
like
warmth to it.
I do feel like the audio wasn't the best on some of our first podcasts, nor
Oh, yeah.
maybe the who knows? I don't know. We weren't as
But
obviously
I
as
understand.
professional
I
as we are now.
go back to listen to my song. I never satisfy. Like I never happy. You
But the
know.
longer detached you are, the more I think you like it's when it's like hot off the plate, you're just like, oh, that thing, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Most stuff I listen to, the things that I might have obsessed about probably don't really bother me. Like I could really nitpick if I wanted to, but overall, I'm like, it's cool. And then you forget some stuff and you're like, oh yeah, I really wanted a hi-hat here and it ended up being a ride. That's what you're saying, right? Things that happen in the studio and you just kind of let it happen, you know?
Well, okay. And with this EP, I have one song called December, which there's one part of the song that I was kind of off pitch. When I go high, I was off pitch. And I was like, but the reason I was because I was crying when I was recording. And
that is awesome though, and that's what so much modern music lacks.
so,
You know, that because that's a human quality. It's not AI. It's not perfectly
right.
auto-tuned.
But when
And
I
that makes
listened to it,
emotional.
But when I listened to it, I was like cringe, you know, like, oh my God, should I let it go? And Dave say, let it go, let it go. But when I listened to it, I'm like, man, I wish I fixed that, you know? But which, by the way, is no autotune whatsoever in this album. Not even, yeah.
That's amazing.
So, but I would take it.
I've been auto-tuned when I didn't even know it.
when people comment
Producer.
was like, oh my gosh, that sounds off, you know, that note. And I was like, but I know the reason because I was there like recording, I was crying and there's one take. And so I have to live with that. So every time I listen to it, I have to live with it. But I have to tell myself, it's okay, you know, but I'm go back and forth. Oh man, I wish I fixed it.
I know.
And then when part is like, it's fine, let it go, you know.
I think there's a lot of things that happen like that. And I like demos when it's like, no, I'm just going to keep this acoustic that was recorded in my house with the creaky stool because it adds vibe and character, you know, things like that. I'm going to keep this weird tone that you know, like, so same with vocals. Not every vocal needs to be super perfect. And I don't think there's any moment when listening to your EP where I was like, ooh, God, Suki, you know what I mean? So hopefully the idea is like when people do hear it on some human level, maybe they feel that anguish and they feel that expression, you know. It's authentic.
And that's one thing about Ed, my mixer that he mixed my album. He's in for that. He kept things raw. If you listen to it, the vocal is like raw and it was like upfront and it's.
I feel like we're afraid to do that sometimes, especially when you're new. If you're mixing your own stuff, things kind of EQ'd and overly EQ'd and overly reverbed. I listen to my demos and I'm like, oh my God, it's like Def Leppard reverb on here. You know what I mean? It's linger in the atmosphere from the 80s. And it's just like, but sometimes you'll get a mix like you were saying. I remember when I got a mix for a song one time and I was just like, it was totally different than my mix. And it was dry and my vocals were, and I was just like, it's just, I don't know. And the guy was like, it's my mix. You know, it was just
he mixed it that way.
It's not your mix.
It took me a little bit to get used to it, but then I fall in love with it. It's like, because it's like you said, nowadays, everything is so clean and neat and clear. Even in concert, in the main concert, when we watching big artists sing and you hear it perfect, right?
Right.
You wonder how did it do that? You don't know if they sing with tracks or they have underneath line of vocal going. You don't know.
Well, look at the biggest bands in the world that have been the biggest bands in the world for decades. Bands that are still around and come back out to like Metallica and Guns N' Roses. They are not pristine live at all. They're not, super on the grid. Lars pushes the, but actually I saw an interview with Rick Rubin. He was talking about that's part of Metallica's sound, that Lars is a little ahead of the beat, someone else is a little behind the beat. And, Chad Smith or whatever his examples were. And then in these guys, you hear them playing and when you hear a rock band, and a great singer, but he's a little, you're like, well, shit, at least I know they're playing the song live. Now I get like certain performances have to be, whatever. And I understand the whole pop thing and all that, but I think as like someone in more of the rock realm as an artist, that's part of the deal, and it makes it cool because it's kind of, you're getting it. It's face value. It's not just otherwise. Now, I don't know. We live in this world of laptops now, right? It's like, watch us play 2 backing tracks, and there's a place for that. And that can be cool. I understand that it's just a part of music nowadays and in the whole thing. Right. But, no, so I think it's cool. I think it's cool that your EP, which it makes sense with what it is. It's a very personal EP about your son.
Yeah,
and,
it is. Yeah.
I'll let you talk about December if you want to, but it's just like, it is very, very personal. And to me, it's almost like a disservice to something like that. If you had a producer who goes, I'm going to make this sound like Nashville, modern country. No, it needs to be raw and emotional and not perfect in that sense. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And that's what I've trying to find a way to promote, because it's not easy, because it's so personal. Each one is my own personal story, but I feel the need to be truthful to myself, to write what I feel, because I'm not in a position where like, oh, I want to write hits. I don't want to do that. Like, I just want to write things that I felt is, in a way, this album is kind of like a healing journey as well. So yeah, so some people might not get it, but if some people that have similar story, I feel like they're gonna love it,
Right. Yeah.
I can talk about December if you want me to talk about it.
No, I mean, that's 100% up to you, because I know that's an extremely personal thing. But I will say one thing, like, just in light of with this EP and even cooking with love, these projects that you have taken on, that for you, I've seen you go through them, and I know how much work they were, and I know how stressful it was, and that the money was, all the things you went through. But this is what you do is because you're a true artist, and this is just how you are and how you, I don't want to say how you cope with things, but I think it's natural for an artistic person to do that, right? And so it's cool that these things circle back to your culture in Thailand, like with cooking and love. But when you've done these projects, like you said, they were a means of healing, a means of dealing with, the hardships that life can throw your way,
It's
things you've been through personally.
It served a purpose of, I don't know. It's personal.
We played, would that have been 2015? Because I remember going to some film, you were doing the circuit of the, like, what do you call them? When you're promoting a film, the festivals and the film. That's film festival stuff. And there was something you did in San Antonio. I remember going to that with you. And then also, I had forgotten, you actually did a show featuring the various musicians at someplace in LA. When was that? That was 2015?
Yes. So after I finished the documentary, which I produced the soundtrack as well, and you are one of the artists in the compilation.
I gotta say something about this that I love, actually. Okay. So I had sent, Suki was like, I wanted like a bluesy, she wanted this sort of like Delta bluesy kind of finger picking feel, right? And we had I had done the Mississippi Whiskers sort of Willie Blue Balls thing. So I was like, cool, we'll tap into that a little bit. And so I did a song that was just a song on there, called Suppertime Blues. To make, to kind of go with the theme of cooking. And then I did another just intro that it was literally like, okay, this needs to be 41 seconds or whatever it was. I remember it was like something. No, it was like, so I had to like write it to be exactly that time, which, you do for that kind of stuff. And then, but what's funny is I had sent you ideas of like, what do you think of this or what do you think of that on a just cell phone recordings, and one of them's in the movie. I remember watching it and I heard a thing, there was a backing thing playing at one point, and I was like, wait, what? And it was like, you just straight up had used the thing that I sent you. But phones sound good nowadays, man. It was just this little finger picking acoustic thing, and I was like, oh, that's really cool. She actually used that too. But you had
thank you for that.
Awesome musicians on there. I want to say, well, you recorded some stuff at Moonlight. What's his name? Jazzy Frank.
Yeah.
That guy. Did he move back to Thailand or?
Yes, he did.
Yeah. guitarist you used to play with. Tell us a little bit about that soundtrack, I guess.
Yeah, when I finished the
And the movie.
documentary, well, I filmed it. I went back to Thailand with my own money, and with the camera, I borrowed the camera and sounds equipment. I traveled through Thailand, north, south, and east by myself with the camera, visit ladies that cook, and then so they can tell me a story about their recipe and who they cook for, what, the purpose was like, I just want to tell the story of how important it is in the family that someone still cook for you every day, like your grandma, your auntie, your mom. And I guess part of it, because I was miss my family. I was alone in LA by myself. So I did that, and then I took it back here and I added it, color corrected with a friend of mine. And then I need the music on it. And I was like, well, might as well, produce the soundtrack and then call some friends to help out. And then I submit the documentary to film festival, and it got shown in some film festival around the country, Texas, New York, Iowa, Dubuque. Yeah, it was awesome experience. It took a long time to finish because I pretty much do everything myself, from filming it, edit.
Do you think you would do another documentary or no?
Yes.
That one?
There you go.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
Okay, Cooking with Love Doc.
Yes.
.com. I'm hungry now.
Yeah. The whole point is like when you finish watching it, that you want to call your mom or your aunt or whoever that you grow up, that person cook for you. Like I think because nowadays in society, we miss out, like the food is so fast, so convenient, and I did not know that, man, if somebody cook a stir-fry broccoli with shrimp or chicken for you, that's like they spend time on that, but where I come from, that's pretty normal,
right?
But here you will slap like a cold cut on the bread, and then there was like somebody made it for you. But yeah, so when I grew up having a real food to eat, and then I moved here, and the real food is not come about often because the lifestyle we going with the fast food. So inside I was longing, not just hunger, it's longing for a real food, and then a people that behind the real food that actually spend time cooking that for you. So that's what the whole documentary is about.
The connection.
Exactly. Yeah, it's connection. And and one of the lady that I interviewed, she passed away after, and I'd be able to send this documentary to the family to watch.
That's really cool. Yeah.
And that's the whole point of this film.
Food, like music, is an equalizer, right? We all respond to music. We all need to eat and respond to food, and that's one thing that can bring people together always. So those two things align perfectly. And actually cooking is like in of itself, I think, therapeutic as well. I mean, when
and
you
like
actually
making music for me is
right.
it's like,
well, and you cook like you
ingredients.
You're not just slapping together cold cuts and ordering fast food. I mean, you guys, every time I come see you, like I usually have like some sort of amazing Thai something or other. You're usually cooking, and
besides,
I'm gonna sweat
like,
a little bit. I know that.
Yeah, and for a while when my son was young, I feel the need to find a way to be creative while I'm busy with him. So in the weekends, I will grow a garden where I cook with, and then sometimes I invite people to learn how to cook, pick from my garden, pick the herbs, the chilies, or veggie that I cook. I raise chickens so they could go and pick up the eggs, and then I would teach them how to cook Thai food, and I'm making like a little side money, but it's more like the outlet for me to feel like I still being creative. Why 24 hours I have to focus on make sure this little baby is alive and thrive, which,
Well, it's
like
so
I say,
it's so cool though too, like just seeing your garden, the greenhouse, and all that. And then like with the chickens, what are your chickens' names? And I love the way they actually come up to the door. They're very demanding. They come up and they're like, hey, we want food right now.
We have 3 chickens. One is Charlie, which is like the punk ass one, and Tongdi, which means golden. She have this yellow golden colors, and Mishok, which mean good luck in Thai. Yeah, I raised them since they're little tiny chicks. They're fun.
Yeah, no, it's cool. And they probably they also, one thing I've heard about chickens is they just eat everything, all the insects and any kind of scorpions and all that kind of stuff. So you probably
My
don't really
chicken love
have.
bacon, man. They eat
Well, your
bacon.
chickens are spoiled. They're like, we don't want to eat these bugs. We can get bread and bacon at the door. No, it's really funny. I remember that day they all like, you were like, watch this, and they all ran up to the door.
Yeah,
and
in the
just,
morning when I cook
squawking
bacon,
away. Yeah.
they can smell it. They can smell it. So they all like walk and come waiting on the back door, and I will, give them a little piece. And yeah, so every morning when they smell it, they come. They're smart, man. They know the name. Anyways, yeah, I'm weird, but you know that already.
Well, I mean, speaking of food and just, the one thing we always do, our tradition is we always have Korean barbecue. I think you were the one that turned me on to Korean barbecue. That's just a thing. Every time I come to LA and see you, we try to do Korean bar, mainly for me now, but
Yeah.
But you always know the spots. Yeah, I mean, yeah, we got to do something else. We got to put something else out so people have something to troll on. I got something new to look at nasty comments. What's our next cover song going to be?
Well, you got to finish that Aussies.
Yeah,
change.
I know. I put all that stuff out because we did record a few things at Moonlight, and I just didn't do anything with them.
I'm looking forward to hear that one.
Which one? Oh, Changes. Yeah. My bad. Well, I kind of wanted you to get Tiger Heart out first, though, and then we'll talk. We don't have to talk about it right now, but how we'll put that out as a collab or something.
Should do Wasted Years from Iron Maiden.
Well, the old Suki, man, like she said, like when I met her, she was a rock star, like all carrying around her Ibanez electric guitar. And, or was it an Ibanez, I think, or Jackson, one of the two? And it was all about Dream Theater and Paul Gilbert and
man.
I still am,
Megadeth.
man. I still am. But it's just, I guess I'm also something else too now, I still am.
You know what actually would be kind of cool though is to do to actually do a metal song just out of nowhere, have you collaborate on a metal song, and we just put something out with you doing your old school Dream Theater vocals.
It's funny because when the COVID, man, I got real sick. With my health is just shit, and I got this brain fog really bad. So I start learning, like I just try to combat that. So I'm just try to teach myself new things. So I've been learning jazz, guitars and stuff. So I mean, I still love my metal, but now I'm just
expand your horizons. Yeah,
expand my horizon and learn new chords, and it's awesome because I use it in my songwriting. And yeah,
I think that's what keeps it fun and fresh, though, to go from, for me, it's to go from playing some classical piece to, some sappy love song that, may never even get heard to, screaming and yelling. It's fun. It's different, it's not all the same thing. And that's the beauty of music, just like food, right? You got all these different styles, all these different
exactly.
cuisines.
I was just going to say that. Also,
you're missing out if you're one of those people that like, I only eat chicken fried steak and I only listen to metal.
Chicken fried steak's pretty good too.
Yeah, and but there's also other. I mean, I love when she's talking about mom's cooking meals. I'm like, that's the go-to, man. Chicken fried steak is this, like, that's the one that happens every time I go home. So now you got me wanting to go.
And I think like you stay your taste bud change as you grow older. I mean, so your music taste could change, but it have some limit though. I'm not listening to like pop, like I'm listening to like a good jazz, a good blues.
It just depends.
Soul.
I feel like, I think there's good and bad everywhere. Like some pop is beyond garbage and some is fantastic. I like.
Yeah, I mean, I do study their songwriting though with pop music that popular. I listen to the tactic of songwriting, how they
what are some pop artists, modern pop artists that you like? Oh yeah, playlist. We'll finish with that.
Yeah.
Why don't we just segue right into that? So what we've been doing is with our guests, we're making a playlist, right? So what we'll do on the playlist is we'll put a few of your tunes. I mean, probably the whole EP actually. And then we'll do some of your biggest influences, right? So you're going to have a really cool playlist because it's going to be like a mix between like Dream Theater, Mr. Big, Megadeth, jazz. But let's start with pop. Who's a pop artist? I guess it doesn't have to be a modern pop artist, but maybe you give us someone in the past that might have been a huge influence or a couple, then someone modern you like.
My biggest influence always, her name is Paula Cole.
Yeah, you went and saw her recently.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember, what was that song that I love? And we played it last time I was there. You had just seen it. It wasn't the cowboy one. It was
Feeling Love.
Yeah.
I think you like that one.
Man, such a great song. Yeah, Paula Cole. I'm putting that on there.
I like Carmen. Carmen.
Is that one of her songs?
I don't know. Yeah, I like that song a lot. It's super simple chord, but something. I mean, that's what I like about her was like personal. Her song is personal.
Right.
And raw. It's almost like a pop, but it's have balls. It have aggressiveness of it, you know. And that's I identify with it.
Right.
And another artist that I liked is Katie Lang. She could sing. Katie Lang could sing, and she sing with her soul, you know, her heart. I never seen anyone sing like her.
What would be is there a particular song?
You know, it's funny because when you say Katie Lang, people would think about her early stuff, but I actually like album that came out not too long ago. It's called Katie Lang and the Sis Boom Bang. In that album, it had a lot of vintage retro sound in it.
I know the name, and I remember her being very popular, but I couldn't really tell you. I never really listened to her music, I guess.
Yeah.
Other than maybe what I heard on MTV or something back in the day.
Yeah, but like I said, people would think about her early stuff, which is a bit country, you know,
a
little bit twang to it. But she also have this French album. I guess, you know, she used to sing backup for Roy Orbison, which is
Roy Orbison's badass.
Badass.
Yeah.
That too. I liked him too. So you know the song Crying, and Katie Lang covered that song with him, and it just pull your heart out, you know. And I
didn't know she did that. Okay. That's cool.
Yeah, check that out, man. Is really cool, and I think you will be in love with that song.
Yeah.
Again, because if you listen to Roy Orbison, yeah, I do listen to a lot of oldie stuff. Growing up in Thailand is like, you know, in Thailand you don't hear an album. Mostly you hear compilation because they don't sell original stuff, so people would just kind of like put the cassette whole bunch of songs and sell that back in the day, you know. So I just hear like the main song. But I remember grow up listen to a lot of British rock because my mom and dad gone, so I'm just hanging around in the neighborhood and my cousin will play like I don't know, you know that band?
Yeah. Yep. UFO.
And Uriah Heep. And Kiss, of course, and Led Zeppelin, you know, those. So that's my first taste of rock music. And I joined a rock band when I was 14. And this guy was a lot older than me, and they introduced me to Grand Funk Street Railroad. They introduced me to Linda Ronstadt, which is, you know, being in Thai is not normal because like you have to go dig, you have to go find. So they gave me a cassette to listen to, so I learned those songs. So I learned some like oldie cowboys just so I could gig with them. And I remember we gig a wedding and Thai people were just like, what the fuck is this music, you know? But they probably, I don't know, man. I think the guitar player did some heroin too. I don't know, but you know, like they showed me badass music when I was really young, and I think that's what made me like progress from that to like, you know, Dream Theater and Mr. Big. Same thing with Dream Theater. I was singing like I asked some heavy metal guys, like, can I sing in your song? I just want to cover one song with the band they were performing in the college. And so another guy saw me, so he like kind of stalked me on the bus, and he's like, I want to give you some tape to listen to. And he gave me images and words from Dream Theater. And I was like, what the fuck is this music? It doesn't even make sense, at the time, right? Because it's like, that's my first progressive band I ever listened to.
Such a good album.
Right. Besides Rush and, like,
Yes.
For me, that come later. I listened to Dream Theater first before I go dig into Rush and, Anyway, so I have to learn Pull Me Under. And we practiced that song for like a year to compete in that band, Battle of the Band, that Coke Music Award thing. So that's the start. So yes, in my playlist for sure, that will be Pull Me Under.
Oh, maybe you guys should do Wait for Sleep.
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Second. Now we can. Yeah.
Hello? Yeah?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cable.
I was gonna say maybe you guys should do the second to I think it's the second to last song of that album. Wait for Sleep, and then it goes in. I can't remember what the last song is.
And another song, I don't know if you guys know this one, Temple of the King.
On what album? Same album?
No, it's a song named Temple of the King.
But who's the artist?
I was trying to find, I forgot the name of the band, but that's what I grew up listening to. I don't even know the band name. I was so little, but my cousin was playing that over and over.
Okay, so I got Paula Cole, Katie Lang, UFO, Taylor Swift, Grand Funk Railroad.
What? No.
So let's say, there's a couple of songs I feel like I have to include in this playlist. One would be a Goodbye to Romance, just because.
Yes, for sure.
And there's another song, I think, of all the songs that you always played. What are some of the songs, if you could name, I think you know where I'm going with this. Let's say you had to pick two songs that you always played that were just Suki songs that we probably played, that we played together. You would play them at the school, in San Antonio. What would one of those songs be?
What's Up?
I knew it. So I'm gonna put that on the playlist too. Four Non-Blondes. What now? I'm gonna make you pick a song from these bands. Mr. Big.
Okay, Mr. Big. I like a lot of Mr. Big. I'm not gonna say To Be With You because it's too cliche.
Exactly right. I knew you'd go more deep cut.
My best song, Mr. Big, will be Green Tin 60 Mile.
Okay. And what about?
Okay, I found the band Temple of the Kings by the band called Rainbow.
Rainbow. Okay.
Yeah, there's like one day in the year of the fox can the time remember well. When the strong young man of the rising sun held the throne on the big black bell. You know what I mean?
I wonder if
one?
and I wonder if that's Dio sang for Rainbow, right? Was that Dio or no? Didn't Dio sing for Rainbow? I'm embarrassing myself right now.
It sounds familiar.
I think for a lot of different bands. I don't know. I'm gonna have to look that up now. But yes, awesome. It's cool that we got a Rainbow song in there. We got to get a Megadeth song in, right?
Megadeth for sure. Trains of Consequences.
Ooh, that's a good one. I love making these playlists because then I go listen to them and it's like I'll know like maybe anywhere from 25 to 50%, and then the other stuff
I tried to learn that fucking rhythm. Train of Consequences with Ken Steiger. Yeah. I was like,
with the fret muting. It's a really cool riff.
And I tried to sing. I try to sing and play at the same time when that went out, and I can't.
Speaking of production, that album's phenomenal. I remember I don't think I actually played it, but when we did like a workshop at MI of like there was like Megadeth, I was the only one. I just did the vocals. It was Symphony of Destruction. I just did the vocals for everybody. Let's see.
I did Mr. Big workshop. Yeah, at MI.
What song was it? The one you said?
We did a couple songs. A couple songs. Alive and Kicking. Big.
That's a song or an album? Song?
No, it's a song. Yeah. And then Green Tin.
Do you have a specific song you could cite from UFO or Uriah Heep, or should I just pick those?
I'm trying to think. Yeah, you can just pick those. I mean, they're all good.
Doctor.
Yeah, it's made me think about my childhood. I mean, try to my cousin fucking packing a whole bunch of weed in a plastic bag and seal it with the candles and listen to UFO. And I was like probably like 5 or 6, and he told me like, "Hey, go deliver this." And I give, yeah, I told my mom just recently. I told my mom like
It's
about
Thailand.
this.
I was going to say San Antonio, Thailand is just pretty much the same, right?
Yeah,
same thing. Can't tell the difference. Yeah. A lot of brown people. Got your cousins getting you into music.
5 years old, you can go deliver this weed.
Yeah.
And here's some Uriah Heep for you to
even
listen
looks
to
exactly
on
the
your
same.
Walkman on the way. Let's talk just a few more.
Okay, UFO will be rock bottom,
All right.
for sure. That's all Thai people like.
That's
agree
the jam.
with me. Rock bottom.
What about? Give me some of the some of these jazz ones.
If we in UFO, then might as well put Deep Purple in there. I mean, I introduced my son to it, and he listened to.
And is Indy still super into Rush? Because I remember he was like right out the gate at like 4 years old or something. He gets a drum kit, and he's like, "I would have been no purity." He's like all like obsessed watching like Rush videos.
Man, and then a couple of years later, he's died.
Yeah, it sucks. But at least the legacy's there. I'm so glad I actually got to see Rush. Like I was always kind of like, yeah, they're cool. I was always like kind of astounded as to how vastly popular Rush was for such a
my son, he loved cars.
Band.
So I introduced him to he liked cars, right? He watched documentary, Indy. So I introduced him to Highway Star.
Oh yeah, there you go. That's a good one for Deep Purple.
So he was like, yeah. So he's
give us a couple of jazz ones, and then we got a good playlist here. So what is some of the jazz stuff you've been listening to? What's the softer side of Suki?
I guess it's pretty, what you call, entry level. A song for my father. It's like a jazz guitar that I'm learning. Autumn Leaf, for sure. It's pretty entry level.
That's the one that all of us non-jazzers, we go, well, I can do that one.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's so fun. I love that song. It's just
no, actually, song. I take it back. The jazz stuff I listen to, the lady, her name is Melody Gardot. I spell Gardot, Melody Gardot. And then the song that I really liked, I actually cover one of her song, From Paris with Love.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
But her album, and you gotta listen to it, she's amazing. I think her background of how did she write songs and her personal life is amazing too. I feel like she's a modern day Frida Kahlo from in the music for me.
Okay.
But yeah, check her out.
Cool. Awesome stuff. It made me think of From Russia with Love, that James Bond movie back whenever that was in the 70s or something with Sean Connery maybe. And there's this, probably mentioned to her to both y'all at some point, Natasha Atlas from Lebanon. I became a fan of hers years ago, but yeah, she does a cover of that. It's really great. And she's got some really cool stuff. It's like Lebanese pop. It's like, it's got those inflections and that sort of Middle Eastern vibe.
The
and
melodic
sound.
minors. Yeah.
Yeah. All that weird.
Yeah.
Oh, we lost your audio again.
Pop beats. Hello.
There you go.
Pop.
Yep.
Yes. Yeah. I need even more new cables. Cool. Well, Sukunya. You would think I could say your name after like 25 years.
Actually,
but I'll just call you Suki.
Right. Everybody call me Suki. Actually, the Thai name is pronounced Sukanya. Yeah. Sukanya. Yeah.
Sukanya.
Yeah, but okay. I don't want to spell it with the G.
Right.
So I was like, I mean, everybody butchered my name anyway. Yeah. Like everybody fucked up my name anyway. Actually Thai people, they go by nickname, right? And my nickname, we don't call each other like full name. Like too formal. We just like, what's your nickname? And then go by your nickname. My nickname is And then when I tell my friend to say they call me which just means suck in Thai. So I was like, okay, maybe just go by my full name because I don't want you to call me like suck all the time, sucky.
Well, that was probably a good choice that you didn't decide for that to be your stage name.
And then, well, that's the first year that I came to LA, and then I went to MI, and a lot of people that go in MI Japanese, so they just call me Suki. And then it turned to be Suki now. I'm like, okay, I can't win.
You can't get away from it. Yeah, you just
Yeah.
can't. You know, it's
I
just
can't win.
And those, you know, the YouTube comments will never go away. It is what it is. But there's more good than bad, and what you're doing is awesome. I mean, as a friend who's known you forever, and we've talked about you know, so many different things, and you know, even if we don't see each other or talk for a long time, we catch up and reminisce and whatever. And it's cool to see in the encouragement that we've given each other, you know, after lows, you know, and coming back and creating, and the fact that we're still both making music or doing this in any way. And so congratulations on Tiger Heart. It's an awesome
Thank
EP.
you, man.
So proud of you. The videos are great. Everybody, please go check out Sukunya online on Instagram, Spotify, Apple Music, all that stuff. And then on YouTube, definitely check out the videos, which you direct yourself, right? They're all directed by you.
I directed, edited.
Everything. She does everything. Jackhead of all trades.
Where can they find your documentary?
It's available to watch for free on YouTube.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
Just
cooking with love
documentary. Yeah.
Okay, documentary. Awesome. Well, thanks for joining us. And if you're in the LA area, go to not the Vermont Hotel, but the Vermont Hollywood, and see Sukanya live, tearing it up with their band, playing tunes off of Tiger Heart. And yeah.
Well, I want to thank
January 23rd.
you too. I want to thank you guys too for your time, and I really appreciate you guys talking about my music, and it's mean a lot for small artists like me and Skunk. When you always play music, I've known you for a long time. You never stop. I did stop at one point, and you know, and tried to go to do the video things, but you're always playing, and you inspire me to come back. So, and the whole reason I come back too, because you push me, you encourage me. So thank you. For real, man.
It's reciprocal. Yeah. Much love, my great friend Skanya. Thank you so much for joining us, and we'll talk to you soon.
Bye.
Hang tight.
Later.